Hi, hello, and welcome back to Crickstatic Season 3, powered by Wannabe, an exclusive buyers only listing portal that uses its fabulous AI algorithms to make the matching and the buying process an absolute breeze. They've got all bases covered on their website. If you want real estate, buying or renting, they've got that covered. If you want a vehicle, they've got that covered too. And it's not only on their website, they've got it covered on their app as well, Wannabe app, so you can download it on both iOS and Android. So I don't know what you're waiting for. If you want regular updates on sales and more exciting offers, follow Wannabe Official, their Instagram handle. And they've given the much needed development in the buying and the rental processes. And we'll talk about development later because today's episode I just can't, hold my horses. But before that, as I said earlier, they made everything an absolute breeze through their user-friendly platform. So if you haven't given them a view as of yet, then I think you should right now because you're missing out on something exciting. And if you're still slogging on the streets looking for real estate, I can't resonate to that being a Wannabe user. So anyways, thank you once again to Team Wannabe, and we begin this episode. I mean, what a game of cricket we witnessed. Very few days I'd be left speechless. I was in a fix yesterday because I didn't know which innings was better. Both the innings, fantastic batting showcase from both the sides. The bowling too, you just can't do much on these wickets. I mean, in Tamil we say a pata wicket, and a pata wicket means that there's absolutely nothing on offer for the bowlers. And yesterday there was not a hint of turn, a hint of swing, nothing. You could all that there was a glimmer of prayer from the bowlers because every single ball that any bowler was bowling in the arc, it was being dispatched for six because the batsmen after the first innings, after how much Mumbai conceded, 277. The highest record for the number of runs in the IPL being broken. With that happening, I think the Mumbai batters also got a little bit of confidence that if they can hit 277, with our batting pedigree, we too can. Because I would still say that the more lethal top six is always going to be MI's top six. But coming on to the analysis, Travis Head returning to the IPL on debut for SRH, what a knock. I mean, words can't describe the knock that he played, He took on the 17-year-old Mafaka, who I have a lot of respect for now. Before the game, yes, because of a few bold statements he made, stating that he was a better bowler than Bumrah, that did, turn me a little off. I thought this lad had a lot of attitude, but, seeing them bowl yesterday, sometimes it's not about the numbers. 4 over 66 can be very misleading. In fact, the way he bowled too wasn't great. But you have to realize he's a 17-year-old. He has so much time to go in the international circuit. I definitely see Mafaka being one of the next big things in world cricket, in fact. And I also have to say this about Mafaka, sometimes, almost every over he was giving runs, right? He kept giving runs, but then he came back over after over. He came back wholeheartedly, he bowled. I see that with Mohammad Siraj and I see that with Mafaka. Even when they go for runs, they're coming back under the notion that, what, I can pick up wickets here. You might be hitting me, but okay, hit me up good balls. I don't care. But if you hit me up bad balls, that's when I get affected. But they don't get affected in such a way that they're not able to cope up again. They immediately bounce back with some scintillating deliveries. And yesterday, you just couldn't do too much. I hope MI backs him because I think Hardik Pandya gave a nice interview after the game. We'll address Hardik later, but now coming on to Travis Head. The way he played, the way he maneuvered the bowling, the way he toyed with the field. Anywhere you bowl, he knew the power play is going to be his only, chance to exploit the MI bowling. And because after that, MI is just another team. Their bowling lineup after the power play is terrific. With the spin bowling that they've got, not the best attack in the IPL, they still managed to make a unit out of it, and the way they've operated with that has been fantastic to see as well. But, I think Travis Head, very street smart from him, the way he exploited the leg side boundary, he knew being a lefty, it's going to be a little short boundary for him, and he exploited it to his advantage. Fantastic cricket from Travis Head, great batting from Travis. And then coming on to the next player, who played the better innings, in all honesty. I think, Abhishek Sharma, the way Abhishek Sharma has blossomed into the player that he is today, a lot of, respect and credit has to go to the great Yuvraj Singh, who I feel, has influenced Abhishek in so much of a manner that you can literally see Yuvraj Singh batting when Abhishek is batting. And I have to say this because on record that, a lot of people would compare Shivam Dubey to Yuvraj, Rinku Singh to Yuvraj, Tilak Verma to Yuvraj. But let's not forget, I think this Abhishek Sharma has around 80% of Yuvraj's game in him. That back flow when he plays a flick over the leg side, that it just showed me glimpses of Yuvraj hitting Stuart Broad for six sixes. So, that was terrific to spectate. And Abhishek Sharma, I think the way he handles the spinners nowadays, that's a very striking factor. A lot of people would say that Abhishek is a better player of pace, but I completely contradict. I think the way he handles spin that's fabulous to see, because when you're playing spin with such he's not at all skeptical. That's what I like. With such confidence when he's playing, he exudes so much class when he's timing the ball. He knows exactly where the gaps are. So I think that's one thing that I admire about Abhishek Sharma, that he's always up for a fight and he's always willing to learn. You can see that in him. Every innings he's improving. The way he used his feet, to the way he adjusted his body weight transfer while playing the spinners, everything was, that was very nice to watch. Because as someone who ardently follows every single minute aspect of the game, it was very easily noticeable that this man has put in a lot of hard yards in the nets, and it's all paying off for him. So great work from Abhishek Sharma. Again, words can't describe these knocks, because to propel a team to 277 from 7 for no loss in the first over. Yes, 7 for no loss is a bad over in the game's from this game's perspective. It's fantastic. Then of course, I again said this, that the linchpin of this SRH lineup, it's not going to be Travis Head, it's not going to be Rahul Tripathi if he's in the mix, it's not going to be Abhishek Sharma or Mayank Agarwal, it's Aiden Markram. If Aiden Markram has a good season, if he's able to provide that stability in the middle order, then SRH have struck absolute gold. 42 of 28, another good innings from him. He comes back time and again with such consistent innings, and I think it's only the start for Aiden Markram's IPL rise. I'm still a little miffed that he didn't get the captaincy after achieving what he did for the franchise in the sister leagues, but the way Aiden Markram has gone about his business, it's very nice to see, because I'm a huge Aiden Markram fan. The way he pulls, I don't think after Rohit Sharma there's anyone as good. After Rohit Sharma, there's anyone as good as Aiden Markram. Rohit is number one, of course. But then coming on to the next player, he just gets better with time, doesn't he? Once you start watching Henrik Larsson bat, it's almost addictive. I think the government might even ban us from watching Henrik Larsson bat, because I watched the power play, I watched the replay nearly 10 times now. The way Henrik Larsson is batting, he's in a form, he's probably 25 notches above his peers right now, because the way he's handling the spinners and the way he's exuding so much confidence while playing pace as well. So you can see that he's one more player who's worked very heavily on a pace playing game. He's not someone who likes to not be among the runs. He's always constantly trying to learn. You can see that in Henrik Larsson. The way he played Jasprit Bumrah yesterday was fantastic to see. And I'm looking forward to this matchup, because I read a very interesting article on Crick Info about how, a matchup could be possibly that Jasprit Bumrah versus Henrik Larsson. But I felt Captain Hardik Pandya missed a trick there, that he overthought this matchup. I think he too would have, they would have discussed this in the meetings or the management meetings or whatever, and saying that, let's reserve 2 of, Jasprit Bumrah versus Henrik Larsson, the best versus the best. But when your team has already conceded near to 100 runs in the first 6, I think it's fair to say that you should bowl your best bowler. By bowling only 1 over of your best bowler in the power play, I don't think it made any sense to me at all. Jasprit Bumrah to bowl with an economy of 9 in this game, where you had 277 runs amassed, that is sensational. And to not give him another over left me a little perplexed. But Hardik's captaincy over the last 2 games has left most people confounded. But anyways, coming back on to Henrik Larsson, I think a few shots that he played of the spinners, it left me awestruck. Sometimes the way he uses his feet, sometimes the way he uses his wrist versus the spinner, and sometimes it's just a culmination of every single aspect of his batting that is so beautiful to spectate. He's in the kind of form that, Henrik Larsson is. You should just bottle it up and keep it, because that would be my advice, honestly. Because I said the same about Surya Kumar Yadav when he was amassing those T20 hundreds for fun. And I say this because there are a very few players, who turn on T20 cricket like the way Henrik Larsson does. He's a sight to behold once he gets going. You just can't stop him how much ever you try. Whether you try to go wide at the crease and bowl a wide Yorker, he's got a shot prepared for you. You bowl on the stumps, he's just going to take you off straight from the length. So he's got almost every shot covered in the book. He's one of the very few cricketers who continues to impress me and also inspire me in the nets time and again. I try and copy his batting style. Very hard to impersonate, because there's only going to be one Henrik Larsson, one of the most underrated and underspoken players in this world. So I'm going to say that openly, but the way he played, fantastic. Spoke about Mafaka, now coming to Hardik Pandya. Hardik, the captain, coming off from the Gujarat Titans now, makes me feel that it was largely Ashish Nehra and management who won them that one trophy and the runners-up in the next season. And I say this because I don't know, there's a lot of drama behind Hardik, on the field. I have to say this time and again. You can see him, he's posing for the camera, and I'm saying this openly. He's either, abusing his players, or he's trying to be a little pumped up and a little too, over dramatized with regard to his energy levels. He's trying to show the camera that I'm here, I'm the captain of this side. And the way is that how you treat a senior pro in Rohit Sharma? The previous game, I'm not talking about this game. This game, yes, Rohit did call a few shots as well. But is that how you treat a senior player? Someone who has won 5 titles for this franchise, probably one of the greatest captains in Indian history with regard to the impact that he's going to have in the flourishing of the youngsters and the next generation. But I found that very, very, angering, and it left me fuming, in fact, because, someone of Rohit's pedigree, as both captain, player, or even as someone who can just have around for guidance inside the circle, is always going to be beneficial. It's always a lucrative to have Rohit Sharma. I didn't see a reason why you had to send him to the boundary, especially since you had better fielders to send to the boundary. Was it because Rohit was trying to give a few suggestions? I don't know, but there was clearly a talk after the match with the management regarding this, and you could see the change in the second game. But both, even tactically, I wasn't happy with Hardik in the first game. I think he bowled around 7 bowlers in the first 11 overs. And it's never ideal. That's what sets apart a Rohit Sharma and an MS Dhoni from a Hardik Pandya. Even a Gautam Gambhir for that matter. Yes, Gautam Gambhir, in all honesty, too has to be included in that list. It's because if you see the pattern of these captains with regard to rotating their bowlers, they bowl their 5 main bowlers, the first 10. The first 10, at least the first 13 overs, let's take into consideration. We have around 5 bowling options which have been used. And all the 5 would have bowled 2-2-2 each. And probably one bowler would have gone on to finish a spell. So that's how it usually works. But I don't know, by changing so much up, especially after Luke Wood bowled a good first over in the previous game, I didn't see a reason why he had to do all this, rejigging to make it look as if there was a Hardik touch in it. But in this game, it was good captaincy. I felt the way he did the interviews was what, that's what impressed me the most. After the game, to come out and say that I liked what I saw, that takes a lot of courage to give 277 and say that that's a good captain. He's a good captain, no doubt, but I think somewhere there's a thin line between being egoistic and being commanding. So I think he's got to find that thin line. He's got to find that middle ground between the two, and he's got to exude that kind of a finesse as a captain. As a player, yesterday he was off color. Hardik Pandya, when you have players batting around with that kind of a strike rate, I've in fact even jotted down the strike rates to tell you all. Rohit Sharma 216.67. Had Rohit got going, that would have been a different game altogether. Because I was backing the Mumbai Indians towards the 13th over. When Tilak Verma was there, the match was there. I'll address Tilak as I address the batting lineup. Ishan Kishan 261.54. Another scintillating knock from him. And I must say, the next few players, everyone is a surplus of I think around 200. Barring Tilak Verma, who faced a lot of deliveries. But the knock that Tilak played, fantastic knock. I think very few knocks come parallel to this, the pedigree of this knock. Because he has shots all around the park. The way he shimmied down the track, the way he moved outside the leg stumps at occasions, the way he moved his bat outside the off stump, versus the spinner to go over the leg side. The way he stuck onto the back foot against Mayank Markande, knowing that there would be an opportunity to go over mid-wicket as the ball wasn't doing too much. He stayed back on a few occasions, anticipating the googly. That was fantastic game awareness. I have a lot of respect for Tilak Verma. Starting off from 5 for 10, I think if I'm not wrong, to going on to score 63, that shows, how good the man played. 188 strike rate for him. But for me, this batter stood out. It's not Tim David, it's not Hardik Pandya. It's going to be Naman Dhir. A lot of people would be laughing right now looking at this. But I say Naman Dhir because all these players, Rohit, Kishan, Tilak, Hardik, Tim David, all are established players in the international circuit. For someone like Naman Dhir, who had a quiet domestic season in all honesty from Punjab, hailing and coming and doing what he did yesterday, to play with a strike rate of 214, he might have scored only 30 odd, but you have to see the finesse that was exuded through that innings. There was so much panache through the innings, the way he controlled the middle overs, he dictated the game scenario. That's something I keep saying again and again. The player should be able to dictate the game scenario. The game scenario shouldn't dictate the player. And I felt Naman Dhir also, he was very calm throughout his innings, and the way he put mind into every single decision that he was taking. A few balls that were hittable, he used to take singles. And I was thinking, what's wrong with this lad? This was, I think, easily a boundary ball. But then you would realize that the wind is in the opposite direction, and he knew the single is the best option because you have someone of Tilak's pedigree going, bang bang from the other end. So, it was nice to see that Naman Dhir is flourishing as a player. I definitely see Naman Dhir in the future in the ranks coming up and playing for India. But it's going to take time. He's still a work in progress. A lot of technical flaws, in fact, I would say, with regard to his back foot movement and judgment of the new ball. But he's got a lot of potential, I feel, Naman Dhir. And I'm looking forward to more of Naman Dhir. I'm going to analyze him and I'm going to scrutinize a lot of the facets of his batting in the coming games, but I'm very impressed by him. Then coming on to Hardik Pandya, a highly lackluster innings, 24 of 20 deliveries. You can't do that, in a game that dictates you to go for it from ball one. That you have to be a Rohit Sharma in the World Cup, in the 2023 ODI World Cup. Go out there and say, you know what, this is my role. I'm just going to go for the shots from ball one. He didn't do that. Here and there, I felt again, it was very perplexing that he came in and defended his first few deliveries. Had he gone for 2 sixes, because at the end of the day, I feel all of us are giving too much hate towards Hardik Pandya. And I think the hate that we're giving towards him sometimes, it's going to largely overshadow the game that he possesses. In my opinion, his shot selection, there's no one better than him in India right now with regard to shot selection. Sanju Samson is a very close, call as well for me, but I just feel the way, Hardik operates through the leg side and offside with regard to shot selection, no one can. And I think he's one of the best going around with regard to being equally balanced with both bat and ball. So let's not overshadow his game, the prowess that he possesses, especially with the bat. But yesterday was one off day is all you have to say. It just wasn't connecting for him. The balls that were connecting were off the spinners. They started going a little short of the good length. He just couldn't get any runs of the bat. But let's hope that Hardik comes good, because if Hardik Pandya comes good, Mumbai's chances just only get elevated by 10 to 20 notches, because they are a team that are largely reliant on Hardik Pandya. That's why they splurged so much on him to bring him back, in fact. And if it's 15.5 plus X crores is what I've heard, and if it's true, then I feel the Mumbai management is really backing him as a long-term option. And let's hope that Hardik comes good. Tim David played a few good knocks, I think throughout last year as well. This year again, a good knock, 42. He played well, but you just can't do too much about it. I think the SRH bowlers, they bowled little well towards the end of the innings. Before that, they were all over the place. Patrick Cummins was good. In fact, he's got Rohit Sharma now for how many times now? How many times have we seen this? Time and again, Rohit's team losing to Pat Cummins from the World Test Championship to the World Cup to now this game. At the end of the day, the Mumbai Indians is somewhat a Rohit Sharma's team. You've got to feel for him, but it was overall a fantastic game of cricket. I overused that word today, but I have to, because this was a game of cricket that I had been wanting to see. A high-scoring thriller. Not very impressed with the pitch, not too much in it for the bowlers. But I think a positive factor about the pitch could be that it didn't deteriorate throughout the game. So 40 overs of good cricket on that surface. But it surely was one of the most riveting games of cricket I have ever seen. And I'm pretty sure even you would agree to this. And comment your thoughts below in the comment section on what you think you thought of this game. And a question to the fans. Do you think that this record will ever be broken again in the IPL in the next 3 seasons? Comment below. If yes, who do you think would be the highest scorer of that match? Or who do you think can score? Or another question, in fact, who do you think would be the first player to score a double 100 in T20I cricket? It's open to anybody. Please do post your answer in the comment section. And you never know, 3 years down the line, if I'm still doing this, I'll definitely give you a shout out then, I guess. But thank you so much for tuning in once again to another enthralling episode of Crick Static. This is the creator and host of the podcast, Asmay Krishnan, signing off. Have a delightful day.